Let's take a look at using real-time calculations and inspections. Manual number crunching slows teams down, or worse, leads to mistakes. By adding calculations to templates, your team gets instant, accurate results. For example, the first question in this risk assessment asks for the probability of risk, and the second, the impact. The probability is automatically multiplied by the impact, and an instant risk score is calculated. You can even add logic fields to show your team next steps based on the answer, and trigger notifications to loop in the right people. With calculations, results appear instantly and keep work moving without delay. In this tutorial, we'll cover how to add calculations to a template, apply them to a real example, and streamline the workflow using logic fields. Let's get started. Go to Templates. We'll edit an existing risk assessment template. You'll need Conduct Edit access for the template you're updating. Go to the page in your template where you'd like to add a calculation. I'll be using this Add Calculations page as an example. To add a calculation, make sure any questions that capture values are set to either number or slider response types. If you're using a number field, set the format to number. Make sure all your numbers use the same unit, or none at all. Calculations don't support unit conversion. Use a slider for faster responses and built-in limits that help prevent errors. To create a calculation response, you'll also need a final question with a number response type. Then set the format to calculation. Now create your formula. To build the formula, we'll be selecting each question from this list. You also have the option to type a $, followed by the question name or function you'd like to use. I'll start by selecting question 1. Now enter the operators for your formula. Use the plus sign to add, minus sign to subtract, asterisk to multiply, / to divide, and double asterisk for exponents. In this example, I want to sum up question 1 and 2. Perfect, this formula is complete, but I'll delete this to show you how to use built-in functions to speed things up. Using functions is a great option for more complex calculations. Hover here to get a breakdown of each option. For example, I'll use sum and list my questions. Then you must separate each question by a comma. But let's see what happens if we make a mistake. I won't add the comma on purpose. When you click Save and Apply, SafetyCulture gives you a helpful error message so you can quickly fix it, and then apply the formula. I'll add the missing comma between question 1 and 2, then click Save and Apply. Just like that, your formula is ready. You'll see this icon to indicate a calculation is applied. Click here if you need to edit the formula. Now let's put this into action with a real example. This risk assessment starts with a reference for users to review before answering. You can include a PDF or image using an instruction field. The first question asks for the probability of risk, the second asks for the impact. Normally, the user would multiply these two numbers to calculate the risk level, but let's automate that with a calculation and remove the manual math. First, I'll set both questions to the slider response type to speed up responses. I'll also set the max value to 5, so users can't accidentally enter a number outside our risk scale. I'll quickly replicate the change for the second question. Now we'll add the calculation. Select the final question, make sure you have a number response type, and change the format to calculation. For this formula, I need to multiply the probability of risk by the impact of risk. Select the first question, type an asterisk for multiplication, then select the second question. Then click Save and Apply. Now we can test the formula in the mobile preview. Just as an example, I'll leave the probability of risk at 1 and set the impact to 2. The formula is working correctly. Let's streamline the final steps of the risk assessment by adding logic fields. In this case, I want to show follow-up instructions and notify the safety team if the risk score is high. Click Add Logic on the final question. First, set the condition for the logic. I want it to trigger if the answer is between two numbers. I'll set the value range between 17 and 25, which indicates a high-risk score. Then choose what happens when that condition is met. Start with additional questions to show extra guidance. Enter the instructions your team needs. Then change the response type to instruction. Now let's set up an automatic notification. Click Trigger again. Select Notify. Then choose who to send the notification to. In this example, I'll select the safety team group so they're notified regardless of location. Then choose when the notification is sent. For this high-risk situation, I'll have the notification sent immediately. Click Save and Apply. Now for one final test in the mobile preview. When I enter two values that are multiplied, and they yield a risk level between 17 and 25, the inspector will see the instructions and the safety team will be notified. Finally, don't forget to click Publish to share the changes with your team. Thanks for following along. With real-time calculations built in, inspections can be completed faster and with more accuracy. To learn more about creating formulas and using functions, search calculations in our Help Center. For this and more in templates, head to help.safetyculture.com.